think it's time we finally talk about everything I knit this year. Welcome back to the Show Me Your Knits channel. My name is Mary Grace, and I'm so happy that you're here. As you can tell by the background and the change in my hair color, it's been a while since we last talked. I'll explain that in a future podcast vlog episode, but today I really wanted to dive into everything that I've knit this year. I'm going to move this basket because I'm already shaking the tripod every time I touch it. But I've knit a lot. I've sewn a lot. There's been a lot of really cool projects that I've been able to do, things that I thought about doing for a really long time, and finally, got brave enough to do, had the yarn for whatever. So I'll just be going over knits today. If you're interested in my sewing too, you can follow me on Instagram at Show Me Your Knits. I've started my first quilt, so I'll be documenting that progress over there. So what I'll be going through today is almost everything I've knit. There's a commission piece that's not shown. There's a pair of socks that won't be shown. And then there's 3 pieces that were for a Laramie Makers for Palestine fundraiser that will also not be shown because obviously those have been raffled off. And again, none of my sewing will be shown. But yeah, we're just going to go through all the different projects that I did. I stacked them up initially in the order that I did them. So now they're like reverse in the basket. But I'll just go through them one by one, talk about the patterns a little bit, talk about sizes, yarn, all of that. And I'd love to hear what project you're most proud of. So leave that in the comments. I'll let you know what my favorites are as we go through. We're just going to have sort of a cozy reflection on what I've done this year. Like I said, if you're interested in sewing, I talk about that in the podcast episodes, but we've got quite a few projects here. So grab a tea, grab a project. We're just going to have a cozy dive through most of what I've knit this year. We'll start off with this one, which I have to say is just one of my favorites. This is my Autumn Alpine sweater. This is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks, and I had wanted to make this for a very, very long time. I finished this one up back in the fall, back in September, and I knit it in, this is, I should have made notes. Hang on. Okay, so I knit this in Wonderland Yarns Sport Weight. This is from their it's their Mad Hatter Sport. The colors are water lily, and I actually don't remember the color of the blue, but I got these both at my local yarn shop on local yarn shop day. This blue was specifically dyed for local yarn shop day, so it wasn't going to. I could only buy 3 skeins of it, and so I'm glad I made it work. It's like the perfect crop for me, and I love the colors. I finished it when my hair was orange too, and so now I love wearing it with like an orange beanie. I'm such a like teal, green, and orange kind of gal. I'm here for that 70s color palette. So that's one of my favorite pieces of the year, and a pattern that I had bought previously and then finally decided to make. So one of my favorites. Let's see. We'll just kind of like reach in the basket and see what I can find next. Oh, of course, and it's going to be socks, so I have to go digging for the other one. These was wearing them, so my apologies. These are kind of a modification of the Scrimshaw socks from Summer Lee's book. Ugh, that's gross. I shouldn't be holding these up. That's embarrassing. I modified these from the pattern, partially because I was traveling and I didn't have the book with me. So I did the color work on the top as per the pattern. It's supposed to have color work on the toes as well. But I just did a contrast toe and heel. This is yarn from a yarn shop in Cody, Wyoming. Sweet Mountain Crafts, I believe, is the dyer, and it's all milled and dyed here in Wyoming. So that was a fun project. It's also Cormo, which is the first time I had ever used Cormo yarn. So one of a new and different thing. They wear really well. They are definitely going to have to be hand wash only though, because they're already starting to like felt a little bit, but I've also been wearing them nonstop since I finished them a couple days ago. All right, next into the basket. Okay, seeing red, that's great. All right, so this is my Koyame pullover. It's got this really beautiful cabling detail down the side. I love the rich red color. This is by Joanna Ang, the design is. Another one that I'd had for a long time. It does call for a mohair, and I did not use mohair in mine, but I did use plenty of human and dog hair that have been woven into this accidentally. And Taos Wool's Aran Weight 2-ply in the color Sangre. So this was my first time doing helical knitting. I did not, it definitely shows up more in camera than in person, but did not think about saving some to transition on the arm, but the rest of it looks really, really great. And it was an awesome learning experience there. I really love this yarn. I bought it last Christmas when I was in New Mexico. So he had, Joe, the guy that owns Taos Wools, had dyed it. And then the next day it was, he had dyed it when we were up in Arroyo Seco. And then the next day he had dropped it off at Mooncat Fibers in Taos. And so I actually bought it like before she had even priced it or anything, which is great. But I like knew I had to have it. And I actually still have a couple skeins of it left. So if you have ideas of what to do with 3 skeins of an Aran Weight yarn, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. All right. Sorry for the shaking every time I put the put something back on the table, but I know you probably don't mind too much. So the next piece is my Margot top. I have a, like, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this top because it looks like it's cute on, but it's just got like, it's just a rectangle, you know, like the detail in it is really pretty. I love that, but it doesn't just like drape the way that I want it to. Like there's no shaping, and it's to get my bust size. The shoulder is like way out here on me. So I'd used Sandisgarn Lena for the first time, and I really, really like the yarn. And so whenever I wash it and it shrinks up, it fits really good for a little bit, and then it stretches back out again. But it's just hard to style. I really like everything about this pattern except for, that sounds horrible, except for wearing it. But it was really fun to knit. I really love the armhole details. But as you can see, there's just like not a lot of shaping. And I've gotten so used to doing short rows in almost everything this year that I think that the pattern is just not made quite for my body type. But yeah, Margot top, Sandisgarn Lena. I could consider, since it's a yarn that doesn't have much memory, I could consider sizing down, but to be honest, I'm not sure if I'll knit this again. But yeah, it's a good summer piece. On to the next one. Ooh, yes. So it was decided like a year ago that I would be knitting this pattern, and then took a long time trying to decide on yarn. My boyfriend at the time was like really wanting this Christmas green color, and so we looked really hard to find an Aran Weight that was in like the Christmas green that he wanted. Ended up knitting it for myself, not knitting it for him, and then he knit his own. So now we have matching sweaters that we knit for ourselves, but I still really like it. So this is the Dorney sweater by Rebecca Clow. Another Run with Hair all in it, but just a really pretty cabled pattern. And this was the first cables I had done on like a full sweater. It set me up well for another project that is somewhere in this basket. And like definitely made cables feel more attainable. And I think that she said this was like the third, I watch her podcast, but the third pattern she ever designed, which is cool because I love a lot of her patterns that come out, but it's like amazing that the structure of this early pattern was so well done. So I definitely understand why she's able to make such, I can definitely understand how she just like sees them in her brain and is able to follow a path and design something cool and new. So yeah, I really, really love this sweater. It's really warm. We knit it in Plymouth Yarns Homestead in the color Evergreen. And so it's like got a tinge of an itch to it, but it's perfect for these Wyoming windy days, for the winter days. Absolutely love it. All right, next. Yes, another one that was on my list to knit for a very, very long time. And I finally did it this year, making sure the front is facing you. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. Let me find the exact name for you. I've wanted to knit this for so long, I can't remember. I can't believe that I couldn't remember the name of it. This is the Wool and Honey sweater. This is done by K-Bling. It's a circular yoke. My yarn grew like crazy, so now it ended up being nice and oversized. I was trying to make something that wasn't cropped because I tend to make everything cropped, and then sure enough, this was not not a cropped sweater. But this is knit up also in a Taos Wools yarn, It was their sock yarn in the color copper. It's got some, I don't remember the composition, but it's got sheep. It's got some yak in it too, which is the first time I ever knit with yak. But yeah, this was a sweater that I had wanted to make for years, like since the first time I saw the pattern. And absolutely obsessed with how it came out. I didn't wear it a ton this fall. We kind of had a warmer fall. And I kind of dress like this all the time in my stained sweatshirt more so than like um, any real need to dress up. So, and also just due to some life transition stuff, wasn't feeling super dressy for a while. So, yeah, but I really love that pattern. I'm really happy to have finally made it and have it in my wardrobe. Okay, next. Oh, next we have one of 3 Tolstas. If you've watched the YouTube channel before, you know that I was on a Tolsta kick this summer. This is my probably most traditional Tolsta. This is in Drops Bell in the color Dandelion. The pattern is by Rebecca Clow. This is a super affordable yarn that she recommends and has knit several of her Tolstas out of. But just like the drape is really pretty. It's just like a really nice texture. It's not too hot. Not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, go watch Miss Congeniality. So, but yeah, this is the one I tried to knit most true to pattern. I still think I was a little bit over gauge, but I got quite a bit of wear of this during football season, which was great because that was the plan. All right, next. Oh, I kind of peeked, but that's okay. This is one of the coolest things I have ever knit. It took me forever. But I have to say this was probably in one of like my top 3 of the year. It's probably this and the Autumn Alpine for my top, or the others. Those are the first 2 so far in my top 3, I guess. But this is the Halovic wrapped skirt from Wool and Beyond, I believe. I knit this in Sandiskar and Lena. It's just beautiful. It's so pretty. My hip to waist ratio is not perfect for this. I do wish that I would have like somehow combined sizes. I made the 2XL and I wish I would have done like the extra large waist and the 2XL hips because the hips are like my exact hip measurement, but I have to like really, really cinch it at the top. But I made it in the Sandiskar and Lena colors, Blue Hortensia and Pure White, or just white. I can't quite remember. So it was actually like a very affordable project for a ton of fabric. And it's just got like such a nice drape. It was perfect with just some like spandex shorts underneath it. I've lived in Wyoming a decade now. You kind of don't go out in the wind. You don't go outside unless you're wearing shorts because the wind can blow up a skirt at any moment. At least that's my philosophy. So, yeah, it's perfect. It's not too like see-through either. It was like a little bit, try and put some color over it. Or color difference behind it. You can't really tell. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. But yes, in my top 3, and it's a free pattern, which was awesome. But I absolutely loved it, and wish I would have finished it earlier in the farmers market season because that's where I imagine myself wearing it. So next, oh yes, another one that as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to make it. That is my, I have a hard time telling the front and the back of this. I think front's facing you. This is my May camisole. I'm doing a really bad job saying the designers for all these, but I will link all the patterns below just so you have them. Like I said, I didn't make notes. This is a very chaotic video. I wanted to film it really badly, but I didn't put much prep work into it other than, washing my hair. So this is the May camisole. I made this holding 2 strands of Knitting for Olive pure silk. First time I'd ever used that yarn. It did not disappoint. Held 2 strands together. It's just like an absolutely, it's hard for you to see because it's black, but like a really perfectly drapey, just like a perfect summer shirt. It's like a little nicer. The neckline is really nice. I feel comfortable wearing it to work, which honestly, my office is 100 degrees right now, even in the winter. So it might be time to bring this baby back out. But absolutely loved this one. I did knit a size. Based on my bust measurements, I think I should have made a 2XL is what was recommended, but I made an extra large and it fits perfectly. And I know over time it's going to stretch even more. So I might, if you're going to, I was like exactly on gauge, but I might recommend if you're going to knit it to just like size down a little bit, because also if it's like fitted, I don't know. Sometimes when I knit things that are too small, I'm like, it's knitted, it's gonna stretch. Maybe a bad logic, but it's like it's inherently stretchy, so it's okay if it's a little bit undersized. But yeah, something that I recommend would be sizing down, especially if you use Knitting for All of Pure Silk, which thankfully I saw on Any Knits on Amy's podcast. She recommended that, and I really took it to heart. And I also now have quite a few skeins of that left as well. So anyway, moving on to another thing that you'll see right behind me, more skeins. This was upside down. This is a test knit that I did for Woozy by Celine. And again, I can't believe that I don't remember the pattern name. 1 second. It's the Sadie top. Duh. I knit this in Diablo, Hobby Diablo. I think the color is called Stormy Seas. It's color number 28. This is, I was like interested in getting a mohair, and then I was like, you know what? That's expensive. So this project I ended up buying, I think these are like $4 a skein or something, maybe even less. And I knit this using 3.5 skeins, maybe less. And it's just held single. So really, really, like the whole sweater was like $20 or something. It was like super affordable, which was amazing. And it's really soft. It's like partially acrylic, partially mohair. And then what's the other? It's like, yeah, polyamide in it. And it's not scratchy at all. It's like, it feels kind of like dry to knit with, but I don't have any mohair sensitivity or anything, but it was just like an absolute joy to knit with. And it knits up on huge needles, and it was really fast. And this was, I want to say, my only test knit this year. I'm obsessed with the shoulder detail, which you can't really see. Trying to find something light to put behind it so you can see. Don't mind me with my interfacing. Now to find the shoulder. I'm sorry this is so chaotic, guys. Maybe this is why you tune in, or maybe you'll be like, anything for Mary Grace. I haven't seen her in forever. But yeah, the shoulder shaping, you can't hardly see it. But I'd never done a shoulder like this. I'm really bad with knitting terminology. I think it's maybe like a saddle shoulder. I don't know. But I really loved it. And it was really fun to like watch it come together. I will say this and the Dorney sweater, both of those had like shoulder construction that I had never done before. And I really, really liked it because I was kind of like knitting. As I was knitting, I was like, how the hell is this going to work? And then it worked beautifully because the designers are smarter than I am. So, yeah, absolutely loved that one. And I've worn it a couple times. It's like really cute with just like a little bralette underneath. Could do with the t-shirt. It's nice and oversized. So yeah, it's a really good piece. So next out of the bag, another Tolsta. This one was knit with Barocco Remix Light, leftover from a project from last year. I really love this yarn. It's like super lightweight. I decided to do color block. I had put on Instagram asking if I should do color block or stripes, and then I started doing stripes, and I was like, this is giving "Oh brother, where art thou?" prison uniforms. I was like, I want to do this fun color block, and it ended up, it's a little bit cropped, like everything I wear. You can't really see on camera, but I have like an incredibly short torso, and every pair of pants I own is high-waisted. So this was nice. I think it looks like very polished. I really love, I know it's just like a plain raglan, but I love the way it looks in this yarn. I think it's just stunning. So highly recommend trying this one. And I didn't have to, I knit this on the recommended needle size, and it ended up pretty like opaque. So, I mean, I wear like a nude bra with it, but it's a lot more opaque than I thought it was going to be. So I really like that one. It might be, no, I'm not going to say it's my favorite Tolsta because I know there's another one hiding in here. Up next, excuse me. I hope that the burp is not super amplified by the microphone. It's kind of disgusting, but so am I. So whatever. Up next is the some self-drafted socks. This is leftover Capricorn yarn from Hue Loco on the top from another project in the basket, and Sweet Mint by Fiber MacGyver. I just drafted these, or self-drafted the color pattern on these. I also did an Eye of Partridge heel for the first time. which was beautiful, especially in this variegated yarn. It's really pretty. I've gotten a lot of wear out of these, and really like them. So, yeah, I don't want to say this is in my top 3 because it's a pair of socks that is like not a, I don't know, it doesn't feel that intensive, but I really like them. I really like the color. It's like I've done a lot of like dopamine type dressing as the weather's gotten colder. And also now that I'm looking, okay, I'm saying too much at once. One thought at a time. I've been doing a lot of dopamine dressing and it's been a lot of like greens and blues. And then also for Christmas, my best friend got me this beanie. And I just feel like the color palette of the season is really obvious. And the green and the orange. It's just kind of how it's going these days. So, yeah, I really like those socks. The Fiber MacGyver yarn was super nice to work with. And she's super nice too. When I tagged her, she was like, "Thanks so much for using our yarn." I got it on a trip to the Twin Cities in February, and was trying to find like locally dyed yarn, and was happy to have found that one. So, next, my most complicated project that has been on the needles for 30 years, basically. So this is the Fair Isle sweater. If you don't know the whole story of this, it's on my Instagram, but basically like this project had been started and had gone to about like this point in here. And the lady stopped working on it. She'd bought the yarn back in the 90s. So she had stopped working on it. She mailed it to a friend. That friend gave it to someone at the local yarn shop here, that I was friends with. And then she eventually gave it to me. So I did all but the bottom, like 6 inches of this. And it was supposed to be a sweater. It's called like Fair Isle Sweater in Neutral Shades. It's from a magazine. It's like way back in the 90s. Way back, as we're entering 2025. It does feel incredibly far away. But yeah, it was just a pattern. Like everything came with it. I didn't select the colors. I didn't do anything. The yarn is from Shetland, Jameson and Smith, I think, or maybe just Jameson. Yeah, Jameson and Smith of Shetland. So, yeah, I really love it. It doesn't quite fit my hips. I think if I knew more about construction back in 2022 when I worked the majority of this, I would have made it shorter because it's a unisex size, but my hips are wider. As I mentioned before, my hips are wider than my waist and my bust. And so, um, I have a hard time styling it sometimes, but I'm really, really proud of this piece. Originally supposed to be a full sweater, but I ran out of this color of yarn and I was like, there's no way that I can get that replaced. In retrospect, I now know that I probably could have gotten some and could have kept going. But I don't know if just like a skein was missing in the bag that I was given, or like over the 30 years something had been misplaced. But yeah, I ended up just turning it into a sweater vest and kind of mocked the collar and ribbing detail. Just put that on the sleeves. Thankfully there had been some shaping, so it's not very boxy. It's like very, very nice to wear. But yeah, super warm, really rustic wool. That's probably I'm gonna put this in top 5. This was my first piece to ever go in an art gallery. This is the piece that like made me believe that like I'm an artist, like that it's not just knitting, like it's a lot of time and intention, and it like kind of helped me get into the arts community here in town even more. So maybe for that reason it should be number 1, but I'm just still gonna say top 5 for now. Yeah, so we have the socks, we have autumn alpine, we have the skirt, and we have this as 4 of the 5, and we'll see what else is in the basket. Oh, nice. Next is oh my god, it's all twisted. I promise most of these are clean. This one for sure, but this is this is a ranunculus by Midori Hirose. It's kind of fun. It's like everyone's giving me crap about the fact that it was like camo, but I loved it. And this is ultra cropped. I think I knit like a size 2 because I know it's supposed to be oversized, but I only had one skein of this yarn. This is from Mezzo Makes, from her cryptid collection. I think this is the Nessie color. from like 2 years ago, but I only had one skein of it. I had to make it work. So I really enjoyed making this pattern. I plan to make another one with this Hue Loco chartreuse because I've got like a skein and some, and I think that that will be really helpful. Um, but yeah, I knit this on a trip. And you knit it up on big needles, and I like finished it 2 days into the trip, and I was like, well, what am I supposed to knit now? But it's just absolutely beautiful. This was like a blocking miracle too, because it really opened up a lot whenever I blocked it, without being like, it's like light and a little bit see-through, as you can see, but it's not like, again, I wear just like a black bralette with it or a brown one, and it's totally fine, or like my comfort level of fine. So yeah, I quite liked that one, and I intend to make another one. Wow, am I finding? Just found a drop stitch. That's a major bummer. One moment. All right, well, put that in the mending pile, and we'll move on to the next. So, okay, I peeked again. Up next, we have a little accessory. These are the Dahlia bow, knit up with some mohair. Gives mohair held double. Yep, looking at it, it's double. But there's like a small version and a long version. I like putting these in like little pigtails. They're cute. And then I love doing like a bun with this in it. I had intentions to like knit a ton of these for gifts this year because I think they're so cute. But instead, I have 3 of them, and that's that. So yeah, I really like these. They're cute. They're just a little bit out of my like normal everyday wear, but big fan. Next, these are the DK ribbed sock, also from the Summerly Knits the Sock Project book. This was my first set of DK socks ever. It was fun how fast they knit up. It was like baffling, and also that they only use like half a skein of yarn. They're like a little bit short, because they're like around the house socks. The DK isn't as tight on my foot as my fingering weight socks are, so I don't wear them with like my boots very often, but I will, throw them on with Birkenstocks and run to the grocery store. But just a different feel on my foot. But I really like these. They're super cute. I feel like with socks, I have to get all up in your face to show you, because with sweaters, I have to stand back. But this is also a Mezzo Makes subscription club. It was the Treat Yourself colorway from the Parks and Rec collection. I only did like 2 months this year because it was not quite in the budget, but this colorway is super fun. I don't have a lot of pink in my wardrobe, as you see, so they're kind of a fun pop of color. So, all right, next, yes, this is a self-drafted hood balaclava, whatever you want to call it. Insulates the sound really well. Oh god, tying that bow was probably so loud for you. I'm so sorry. This is a yarn, being ridiculous, Mary Grace. This is a yarn that is like, I'm pretty sure that from like sheep to shearing to hands, or like to processing to milling to dyeing, hand spinning, all of that is like custom for Stephen B Studios in St. Paul. And so I got this when I was on my trip to the Twin Cities as well. But I was like, I have this one super chunky skein of yarn. What can I do with it? And I decided I wanted to make this again to go with the dopamine dressing with the blue and the green and all that. So it's nice for dog walks. It's nice to have like a little something I can throw on, like if I don't have on a hoodie, or if I want if it's windy enough and I need something like over a beanie. This is nice, and also just like feels silly. I live like out on a dirt road, and I'm just like walking the dog with my like very glamorous like custom hood. And then the bows I just made with fabric from a sewing project this year. And I'm torn on the color because it's like not quite the same tone of blue, but all about using what we have, which I'll talk about in my next vlog podcast episode. I'm planning to do a low buy year this coming year, so it's all about like using up the stash and everything I have. But yeah, that was a fun project. I just whipped it up in like a couple hours. I think it probably took like 4 or 5 hours. which felt pretty good since I made it up myself entirely. So I did start and then rip it out because I compared it to like the curvature of an actual hood, and it was like way too far back. So yeah, I, even with ripping it out and taking it or putting it back together, starting over, what's the right way to say that? I did it in like a day, which was great. Up next, I'm seeing some orange out of the color of my eye. The color out of what? Out of the corner of my eye. This is my comically large scarf. Also something that I never tried helical knitting on. I actually don't know how comically large this ended up being, but it is funny that it was like out of fingering weight yarn. And okay, I'm gonna put it over the microphone. I'm so sorry, but that was probably horrible. I did knit it out of fingering weight yarn, and it's just like all seed stitch. And it took for freaking ever. Such a good color though. I love it. This is also by Mezzo Makes. I swear, I just love everything that Kate does. Like, it's just really great yarn. It's really beautiful. So yeah, this is from the collection she did in honor of her grandmother. I knit a sweater by Calibri by Joanna out of it, and I had a ton left, and so this is like 2.5 skeins, or like 2 3/4 skeins probably of what was left. In the colorway Joanna, not the colorway. The collection was called Joanna, or Joanne. I'm so sorry. Named after her grandma, and this is the color Marigold. Getting thrown off because the pattern designer is Joanna. So, yeah, I love this yarn. It's like just so vibrant and pretty, and like makes me feel so happy. I feel like we're really like. Let me cook real quick. You just gotta have the most colorful dog walk you've ever seen. This is it, you know? Anyway, okay, we're back. I wish you could see this dog. She's now laying between my legs because she knows she's in trouble for barking. She's got like a paw held onto my leg. So maybe I'll be more stationary now. We'll see. This is ridiculous. Let me just show you. Have you ever seen a more pitiful thing? Okay, apologies if the camera angle is different now, but you don't care. I don't care either. It's fine. We'll just keep going. Okay, we're getting towards the bottom of the bag. Next is my favorite Tolsta. This one is knit with Cascade Ultra Pima, and then a little bit of Sandiscard because I didn't have enough yarn to bind off my I forget what we call this, but I didn't have enough yarn and I had to improvise, but it turned out okay. This one was the first of the Tolstas I made. I just did a picot. It's a picot edge. That's what it's called. So I did the picot edge, and I did some purl bumps every like 8th row, I think. And it turned out awesome. It's like I'm obsessed with this. Probably my favorite of the 3 Tolstas I made. It's the first one. I actually won a giveaway from Rebecca Cloth, the designer, during the Tolsta Time giveaway, and I got some more yarn. I may or may not use it for a Tolsta. Sorry, Rebecca. We'll see. But I got yarn to make a Tolsta. So, yeah, I really love this one, and I was really proud. It's like the first time I've ever won a giveaway, and to like appear on screen with her was like very fun because she screenshot my Instagram post and everything. And then like a couple new people followed me, so that was really fun to see, to get some audience that wasn't just like my friends being nice and following my knitting page. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say about this one. Oh, all the Tolstas I knit a size 5. I'll say that. They all fit a little differently because they're all different yarn. But like did the same, like the recommended needle size I didn't gauge up or anything, so, or didn't size up. So yeah, I really like that pattern. Obviously I knit 3 of them and probably will make some more this summer or something. We'll see. All right, we're definitely getting towards the end. Cute. This is my Edgar slipover, also by Calibri by Joanna. This is why I made the Dahlia bows, is because I had just so much leftover mohair from this. But the colorway is the Capricorn fingering weight from the Star Signs collection from Hue Loco. And yeah, I really like this pattern. I like should have thought about this with a variegated. I just really, my birthday's in January. I wanted the Capricorn yarn, but I didn't really think about the way that like the color changes. And so I really like this piece as a piece. All right, back again. The neighbor is, I don't know if I said this, it's Christmas Eve. The neighbor's loading up to go visit his family, and we find that personally offensive. So, yeah, I really like the color of this, and I like the details, but I just don't wear it a ton. I think it's something about how like the color change hits right at my boobs and like it's, hang on, I'm gonna hit the mic again, I'm sorry. But like the way it angles down, it like angles down right at my bust, and so I don't know, you have like sad boobs. I feel like that's kind of how I feel when I'm wearing it. I don't know, but it's so pretty and I love the color, obviously. But yeah, so this is a pattern that I really like, but I definitely would do things different if I knit it again. So, yeah, and I think I knit an extra large in this. And I almost think that I could have sized down. It's also supposed to use 2 strands of mohair held together, but this was before I discovered the inexpensive mohair substitute, and I was like, I ain't got money for that. So that's the story of that. Next, oh yes, some more Taos wool. These small dyers love to see me coming, you know. So this is the Flutterbutt shorts by Park Knits, I think. I'm gonna hold them up, but the crotch is like really tiny, so they look scandalous. And they did shrink. I was a dummy. I thought this was superwash yarn. It's not. I washed it. I dried it. Now you can see my butt in my Flutterbutt shorts, but it's okay. They're just pajamas. They're for wearing here. So, yeah, this is with the copper from Taos Wools that my wool and honey sweater was knit with. Like felt it up nicely. I tried to stretch it back out again, and that was just like not happening. But they're good pajama shorts. They're good for summers for camping and stuff too. Like when you don't want to be wearing shorts, but you have to. But yeah, this is the second pair of these that I'd knit. I still would knit that pattern a third time. I would knit these again. I'm so sorry. This is chaotic. I'm not actually, because I'm like home alone for the holidays, and this is just so I do every day, and you just get to see it because I don't have a captive audience in my house anymore. So, yeah, that's all I want to say about the shorts, I think. And then, okay, 2 things left. This is the first thing that I knit this year, which is like I think the pattern was called like mid-century slip stitch socks. I can't quite remember, but this is also out of the Mezzo Makes Cryptid collection yarns. This is Jersey Giant, or not Jersey Giant, Jersey Devil. Jersey Giant's a Tyler Childers song. Top artist Spotify Wrapped. How y'all feeling about Spotify Wrapped? Feels accurate for me, but I know not everybody was super stoked. Tyler Childers, Chapel Roan. She is made of multitudes. Anyway, I really like these. They're like a little bit big for me. I'm also looking in like I've noticed this on every pair of socks that I've shown you today, that like it's hard to see, but like one sock ends, this one. I don't know why the cuffs on one leg are so stretched out. Like I cannot figure that out, but like every pair of socks I've shown you has been like the cuffs. The 64 stitches is what I cast on every time, but they look very different. But yeah, this was just like a quick knit at the beginning of the year. I have socks on the needles right now, so like another also slip stitch, but this time with some color work, but like might have socks be the first thing that I finish this coming year too. But those were great. I'm trying to get sock blockers made right now so that they'll photograph a little bit better, but also will like dry less weird. But yeah, anyway, so the last thing I have was a super fun project. This is my 2x2 rib hat. I don't remember who the pattern designer is for this one either, to be honest, but I knit this out of Destination Yarns Solar Eclipse yarn, which was fun. I flew down to Texas to see the solar eclipse with my dad, and I knit this on the way to Texas, and so I like knit it in a day. It was like I thought it was a cute little thing. But yeah, I really love the colors on this. It's like really pretty. And I also kind of think it looks like moons. Like the way it happened to knit up is like, I don't know. You're not increasing or anything. It's just a tube, but it like was fun how it did that right there. And then it kind of like, I don't know, hand-dyed variegated yarn is so fun, you know? Like the good and the bad. It's perfect for stuff like this. I keep burping. I'm so sorry. It's perfect for stuff like this, but I can understand why people sometimes don't love working with it. So, yeah. Okay, so I promised you a top 5. I didn't promise you a top 5. I just started talking and then here we are. But we have, let's see. You're going, you. Okay. I'm looking at 4. And then I feel like I could be really torn between my Wool and Honey sweater and my Koya May pullover, which is crazy because I wanted to knit the Wool and Honey for so long. But I think I'm going to have to go one Taos Wools for another, you know? It's fine. So, number 1 most favorite thing, Autumn Alpine, Caitlin Hunter. Absolutely love it. I've been thinking about doing a video that was like, if I suddenly lost all my knits, what are patterns that I would reknit immediately? She's on there. If you think that video would be fun, just let me know. Probably, damn, this is hard. So 1 Autumn Alpine, 5 these socks that I just like for the colors. I'm going to say number 2 is this, just because of like the meaning behind it, not out of actual wears. Number 3, Koya May. And then number 4. And I think that this would be the Halvik skirt would be even higher if I would have gotten more chances to wear it before it got cold. But yeah, absolutely recommend this pattern, especially because it's free. It's just beautiful. And it's like affordable and a challenge in patience more than anything. And then yeah, the socks, my colorwork socks. So yeah, let me double check the basket. She's empty, just a rogue button. Hello. Had a walk, had some lunch, realized I forgot 2 very important pieces, probably 2 of my other favorites. Maybe would have unseated some of the others in my top 5, but it's fine. First one being my most recent finished piece, which is my Haley slipover. I have wanted to make this for so long. I feel like I've said that about a couple things. But yeah, I made it with some leftover tweed from Mezzo Makes. Oh, I didn't put my mic back on. Sorry. Leftover tweed from Mezzo Makes in the colorway Benevolent Queen. The sample is knit up in cream, so I was really worried about just like the color and how the cables came through, but I actually love it. And it's beautiful. Like I said about the Dorney sweater, I was a little bit afraid of cables going into this year, but now I feel after doing Dorney and after doing this, like I can do anything cable wise. So might try and find some honeycomb cables for this coming year. I also have some, I just bought a pattern from Sari Nordland, so I might try some of her cables for the first time, which is good and exciting. And then the other thing that I forgot is like my most complimented, probably most worn knit, and that is my Scrappy sweater. This is the Erin Gallant sweater. Well, it's the Gallant sweater by Kadri, and the pattern that I have, the version of it is the Erin weight, and so I did probably more like, I don't know, it's probably close to Erin. It's like, there's like yarns held quadruple some of this. But yeah, this one was made with scraps. It was like a very fun project because I feel like up until this point I was very like, not neutral, but like regimented and like structured in my knitting. And so to do something where like the two sleeves don't match was pretty out of character for me. And yeah, super warm, super high wear. And yeah, the like most complimented piece that I have in my whole closet. So that's actually almost everything I knit, besides the pieces that were gifted and donated and made for someone else in the first place. So yeah, just a quick little insert there because they were in hiding. I like sat down on the couch to edit and realized that I sat down on that last sweater and I was like, damn it. But yeah, that's everything I knit this year. If you like these videos, it seems as the trend may be getting more chaotic in even the vlogs. So if you like the vibe, make sure to like and subscribe. That rhymed. If you want to follow along on my knitting and my sewing, I've been posting more and more on my Instagram at Show Me Your Knits. Be happy to have you join me over there. Love to see what you're working on. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Leave a comment below. What patterns are you working on next year? What are you most proud of for this year? And also, should I keep using the mic? Just let me know. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I'm going to try and get this posted tomorrow in case anyone's like me and doing the holidays home alone. Thanks so much for joining. I'll see you in the next one.